Hi students, welcome to today's class. For today's class, I have a very special video for you. We're going to be talking about the differences for clothing vocabulary in British English, American English, and Canadian English. So I will be representing Canadian English, and I have a special guest here, Francisco, who will be representing American English. Now, Francisco is half Spanish and half American, but he grew up in Spain. However, he's had an amazing English teacher, his mother.
Who's American?
So he qualifies for the American part. Okay, so I hope that you enjoy the video, and yes, let's get started. Now, I almost forgot, we have another special guest. He will be representing the British side or the British English side. Dun, 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 dun. Now, he's not going to be talking a lot throughout this video. He's a bit shy, but he will still be here to help us out and represent the British side. Why don't we begin? Let's go. All right, let's begin. So what we're going to do today is I have a bunch of pictures for each item of clothing, and I'm going to show them to Francisco, and we're each going to discuss what we think the term or the word would be for this image. He'll tell me what he thinks it is in American English or what it is in American English. I'll say what it is in Canadian English, and then our special guest will say what it is in British English. Okay, shall we begin?
Let's begin.
Let's go. So our first picture that we have is overalls. At least for Canadian English, we call this overalls. What do you call it in American English?
We call it exactly the same. It's overalls also in the States.
Yes. So an American English and Canadian English have a lot of similarities when it comes to vocabulary. But in British English, I feel like it would probably be a little bit different.
I am 100% sure it's going to be different.
Why don't we ask our special guest? So what do you think? What is overalls? What would this image be in British English?
Dungarees.
Oh, interesting. It's so different.
Totally different.
Why don't we continue? Now, to summarize, we would say overalls.
Overalls. Dungarees.
Now, for the second image, I would say that these are sneakers.
Yeah, I'd say these are sneakers too. Totally. Yeah.
And what do you think?
Trainers.
Very different.
Totally different.
So to summarize, sneakers.
Sneakers. Trainers.
So now for our third image, I have for you at the very top gym shoes and at the bottom tennis shoes. Would you say this is the same in American English?
Yeah, definitely. We say the same thing for both. So gym shoes and tennis shoes.
It really depends on what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to the gym to exercise, then maybe you're going to wear your gym shoes. If you're going to play tennis, then you would wear your tennis shoes.
Yeah, exactly the same.
It really depends. And on the British English side, what do you think?
Plimsolls.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So now to summarize, gym or tennis shoes?
Yep. Gym or tennis shoes. Plimsolls.
So now our fourth image for me would be a vest. And you?
For me, it would be a vest also, yes.
And it depends on the kind of vest, but it would all be a vest. You have a winter vest to keep you warm, or if you go to a wedding, you can also wear a vest.
Under a suit, yeah.
And what about you? What is it in British English?
Waistcoat.
All right. To summarize, I would say vest.
I would say in American English, vest. Waistcoat.
Okay, so our fifth image are, for me, these are suspenders. What about for you?
For me, are suspenders too. Even though I don't usually use them, but yeah, suspenders. Sometimes.
And for our special guests, what would you say those are?
Braces.
Interesting. That's really interesting. Because for me, braces are the braces that you would wear on your teeth to straighten your teeth. So that's very curious that they would call them. Yeah, that they would call them braces, but for us, braces are what you would wear on your teeth.
Yeah.
When you yes.
Very
interesting. So to summarize, suspenders,
suspenders, braces,
Now, our sixth image, for me, these would be rubber boots or rain boots. You can say either one, and they both mean the same thing. And in American English?
Yeah, for us as well. It's rubber boots or rain boots, either one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about in British English?
Wellington boots.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Totally different.
Totally. Yep.
Now, to summarize, rubber boots or rain boots?
Rubber boots or rain boots. Wellington boots.
Now, our image for number 7 would be a sweater, which is what I'm wearing today. A sweater. And in American English?
Exactly the same. It's a
sweater, right?
Just the same. Yeah.
And I believe in British English, it's different also. What would you call it in British English?
Jumper.
Jumper, like the verb to jump. Jumper.
Interesting.
To summarize, sweater.
Sweater. Jumper.
Now, our image for number 8 would be a bathrobe for me. And for you?
It's a bathrobe for me too.
Same thing, a bathrobe. So when you come out of the shower, the thing you put on would be a bathrobe. And in British English?
Dressing gown.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they would call it a dressing gown, because for me, a dressing gown would just be a gown, a long dress that you would wear for a party.
For example.
So it's very interesting and quite different.
Totally different.
Bathrobe.
Bathrobe. Dressing gown.
Now, our next image for me would be a zipper. And for you in American English?
For me as well. Zipper.
Zipper, right? So as you've been noticing, American and Canadian English are very similar when it comes to vocabulary. Really, the big difference is
spelling.
With sometimes spelling. Yeah, sometimes spelling. And the big difference with all the Englishes would be more so British English, right? Australian English, probably also, but we're not quite sure. But British English is quite different when it comes to certain words.
Very, very different.
So how would you call a zipper in British English?
Zip.
Okay, interesting.
Almost the same.
Now, I wanted to add that zip is also a verb in Canadian and American English, at least. British English, I'm not quite sure, but in American and Canadian English, to zip would be a verb, to zip up your coat. So it's quite interesting that for
They are
us,
related though.
They are, of course. They're definitely in the same family. So we would call this a zipper. The British would call it zip. But then we also have the verb to zip. To summarize, zipper.
Zipper. Zip.
And now our 10th image. For me, these would be pajamas. And
for me,
you?
it's almost the same, but we would say pajamas.
Pajamas. So very
similar.
similar. They almost pretty much sound exactly the same. The only real difference here between American and Canadian English is the spelling, right? In American English, it starts with a P-A-J, and in Canadian English, it starts P-Y-J. And actually, this one I do know, in British English, it's exactly the same as Canadian English.
Yes, it is.
So here, we're actually quite similar. We're different in this case. So how would you pronounce it in British English?
Pyjamas.
Okay, exactly the same, pretty much.
Yeah, there you have it.
So to summarize, pajamas.
Pyjamas. Pyjamas.
Okay, so our 11th image, for me, this would be a diaper. A diaper, something that you would wear to go.
Babies wear it. I don't know you,
potty.
but I don't wear it. But babies
well,
do.
some adults wear diapers. Not us, but some do.
Babies.
So I would call this diaper or diapers. And
I
you?
call it the same. Diaper or diapers.
Good. And in British English?
Nappy.
Huh, interesting.
Different.
Nappy. Nappy like a nap.
Yeah.
To summarize, diaper.
Diaper. Nappy.
Now our 12th image, for me, these would be pants. And for in American English?
For us, exactly the same. Pants. Also.
Pants
Yeah.
also, right? In British English?
Trousers.
How interesting. Trousers.
That's different.
Interesting. To summarize, pants.
Pants. Trousers.
Now, the next image, for me, these would be underpants or underwear, which is the general term for this item of clothing. And in American English?
Exactly the same.
So,
Underwear, underpants.
Yeah, underwear,
Either one.
underpants, and in British English?
Pants.
Okay, that's interesting because for us, pants are the long pants that we saw in the previous image, the thing that you would wear over your underwear. But for British English, that would actually be underwear. So it's the other way around.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful if you're, for example, let's say you're on vacation in London and you say, Francisco, nice pants.
Or I dirtied my pants.
I dirtied my pants. That could
Very
be
bad.
an awkward conversation.
It could be very bad.
To summarize, underwear, underpants.
Underwear, underpants, pants.
Now here we have for number 14, panties. Keep in mind that panties is more specific than the previous image. So for the previous image or word we had underpants and underwear. Now this is more specific, which is panties, something that a woman would wear. And also in English in general, American or Canadian English, you can also differentiate by saying thong, which is a specific kind of underwear that a woman might wear, or panties, or you can just say you're wearing underwear, which is very general. So now, how would you say panties in American English?
I would say panties as well.
Panties,
Exactly the same.
Same thing.
Yeah.
And in British English?
Knickers.
Okay, interesting. To summarize, panties.
Panties. Knickers.
Now, our next image, for me, this would be a bathing suit or swimsuit in Canadian English.
Yeah, exactly the same. It's a bathing suit or a swimsuit.
And in British English?
Swimsuit. Swimming costume.
Okay, so that's quite interesting.
Very
we
formal.
have the same, well, yes, a swimming costume it's quite different, right?
Yes, it is.
Because for me, a costume would be, for example, something you would wear during Halloween, right?
Yeah.
So a swimming costume sounds quite strange as a Canadian, and I'm assuming as an American also. But we do have a similar word this time because I say swimsuit.
Swimsuit too.
You say swimsuit, and he also says swimsuit. So in this way, we're all similar, right?
We all understand each other.
We all understand each other. To summarize, bathing suit, swimsuit.
Bathing suit, swimsuit. Swimsuit, swimming costume.
Now, our next image would be a fanny pack. And a fanny pack would be kind of like a bag that you would put around your waist, and you would store small objects like your phone, your keys, maybe some chapstick. So in Canadian English, we would call this a fanny pack. And in American English?
It's exactly the same. It's a fanny pack, even though I don't own any. But
yeah, and it's quite funny, this fanny pack.
Yeah,
no?
it's very funny.
It does look quite funny. And in British English?
Bum bag.
Okay, interesting. It's interesting. To summarize, fanny pack.
Fanny pack. Bum bag.
Now, our next image for me would be a raincoat. And in American English?
For us as well, raincoat.
Raincoat, right?
Yeah.
And what about in British English?
Mac or Macintosh.
So that's quite interesting because a Mac or Macintosh, when I think of Mac or Macintosh, I think about the Apple
computer.
Apple
Yes.
computers, the Mac. So it's quite interesting. And Macintosh is also a type of Apple, right? So it's quite interesting that a raincoat would have the name of an apple. For me as a Canadian speaker, it makes more sense to say raincoat because technically it's for the rain and it's a coat.
I think so too.
To summarize, raincoat.
Raincoat, Mac or Macintosh.
And our last image, for me, this would be a clothespin. Now, for the majority of people that I've asked, my Canadian friends and family, they say clothespin, but some people say clothes peg. So maybe it depends on the person that you ask, but I would say clothespin. And in American English?
We would say clothespin too.
Clothespin. And in British English?
Clothes peg.
close peg. So maybe Canada being a country that's been
related to the
heavily influenced by British culture and language, then of course we would kind of have both. No, maybe clothespin, maybe close peg. It really depends on who you ask. I would say clothespin, but some people may say close peg. So Canada's kind of in the middle. Mm-hmm. To summarize, clothespin,
clothespin, close peg.
And we reached the end of this very special video. I would like to thank my special guest. Thank you. Thank you, Francisco, for coming.
Thank you for calling me. It's been a pleasure, and you can call me anytime you want.
Thank you. I'll take you up on that offer, hopefully in the future. Mm-hmm. And yes, and thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for future videos. Bye-bye.
Please subscribe and comment. She's very good.
Mwah.